r/AskReddit, what's a science fact that you think about on a weekly basis? That water is a closed system. The water we drink every day has been used since time immemorial. Drank and pissed out by millions of creatures. That's disgusting, that's why I just filter my own piss to drink. I'd rather have it just come from me than millions of other things. As an older guy working out, the existence of gravity. Gravity, it's not just a good idea, it's the law. And after that workout, old guys in the locker room. Damn, gravity always holding me down. Reality is a series of nows that never end. It is always now, and then it isn't. But then it is again. And then it isn't. And it never freaking stops. And everything actually does happen at once. When will then be now? Link. Like how a movie is just a bunch of still pictures moving really fast one after another. That our skin does not have receptors to feel wetness. It can only detect things like temperature and pressure but not wetness. So when we feel wet or if we are wearing wet clothes, it's not actually wetness we detect. Einstein sat in a rocking chair and one day just knew that a watch, or digital clock, in space would tick faster than the same watch on Earth. Every time I come up with something that I think is clever, I remember this. What chair are you sitting in? Eventually, we're all going to die. When I think about it too hard, that deep icy existential dread hits like truck, so basically I try not to think about it too much. I learned long ago to never think about this. Anytime it does happen, I'm just like, yep. Nothing I can do about that. And quickly move on. Memento mori. Yup, so enjoy your time here while you can. Past performance does not indicate future results. My body is just a mech suit being piloted by a pinkish gray squishy blob with anxiety that literally controls everything I do and sense, but is also so weak that a bonk to my mech's cockpit could easily kill me. The galaxy is in Orion's bed. I am uncomfortably reminded of this fact every time I step on something cold and feel like I stepped in water for a second. There are about 7,000 known viruses, but over 1 trillion viruses are unknown. The fact that a small magnet, by picking up an iron object, can exert more force on that object than the whole of the Earth. Every time you pick up an object, you demonstrate that your arm is stronger than Earth's gravity. Fuck you Earth, watch this, picks up object. Yeah, it was definitely eye-opening first learning that gravity in fact is a very weak force. It's just that the Earth is so big that it's the dominant force any layperson ever thinks about or is conscious they are experiencing. The speed of light is constant no matter the frame of reference. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, what that means is that if you chased a photon moving at the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second, at half of the speed of light, 93,000 ms/s, the photon would still move away from you at the speed of light. It doesn't make sense, but it does make sense as there is no preferred frame of reference in the universe. What happens if you are going 0.8 c and throw something forward at 0.8 c relative to you? You can think about the fact that you can think about the fact that you can think. That darkness is the natural order of the universe and light is the exception. While true, life as we know it couldn't exist without light, therefore for life, light is the natural order. Same with cold. Cold is the natural state of everything and then you get levels of not cold. Recently there was a news article about how some other planet smells of cabbage. I wonder what the Earth smells like. Nice, I'd slightly amend to energy being the exception, but that's semantic plus it's your excellent point. Time is relative. 3D printing has changed the rocket industry for better. The heat exchanger channels inside a nozzle can be made in whatever geometry works best for a design. Surface area to volume ratio impacts melting rate, silly, and pretty obviously common sense. But every time I'm cooking and, say, chopping up a stick of butter to get it melt faster, I flash back to 10th grade physics experiments proving that the fact that we exist is a miracle considering how for billions of years, there was no life on Earth. When I think about this too much, I get the urge to YOLO and quit my job and do what makes me happy. Urge to say YOLO and quit my degree, but the world runs with money and I've to earn money. Water is densest at 4C. If water was densest at freezing point, life, as we know it, wouldn't exist. Ice floats, right? We and everything we touch and see came from a star. Directed gamma ray burst. Earthy. Username checks out, guessing you are a fan of palea and thinking about mass extinctions. I have one coprolite, from some kind of proto-turtle. Do you have a favorite? What in the hell is that? How the next pandemic is probably going to be caused by influenza. How rabies affects people. How people have been using adenoviruses and even herpes virus to treat certain illnesses. The fact that bacteria are becoming antibiotic resistant to a range of antibiotics and that tuberculosis is prevalent in certain parts of the world due to poverty and the lack of access to healthcare people in developed countries take for granted. How little space atoms and molecules actually take up, and yet we don't just pass through things like sifting sand for various reasons that smarter people than me can explain. Magnets and shear numbers. A 2cm x 2cm x 2cm cube of copper contains 6x10 carat 23 atoms. That's 600,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 atoms. Many sea creatures are functionally immortal, meaning they will only die when killed by something, not from getting old and shutting down. Somewhere out there in one of a gazillion galaxies is a history of an entire civilization that will never ever interact/know about us nor us know them. Whenever life gets to me, I think about this and everything tends to seem less stressful. Removed. Brings to mind that old question, if you replaced every timber in a wooden ship one by one, when you're done, is it still the same ship? How the hell do they even know? The aqueducts of the Roman Empire. Our organs are always moving, even when we think we are standing still. But the most unsettling fact of this IMO is that our intestines know where to go. When surgery is done on us and they need to move our intestines out of the way, they just shove it back in there with no thought and they will make their own way back to what it's supposed to be. Black holes, time, double slit experiment, how atoms really look/work. The fact that the Earth is literally a tiny little speck floating in the outskirts of Milky Way which will inevitably be consumed by the very sun that makes life possible on the Earth. If you were on a planet 100 li from us and could tune into radio frequencies, you'd be hearing the top hits of 1923 broadcast from Earth. If you tuned in 20 YRS later, you'd be hearing about WW2. How big the universe is and all it can contain. Our body is resilient enough to survive a multiple-story fall without major injuries, but fragile enough for us to possibly paralyze ourselves because we sat up at a weird angle. Alien hand syndrome. Who the fuck is trapped in me right now? Car exhaust and gunpowder. Piss and old socks. Cucumbery. Hello everyone. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to humbly ask you to subscribe to the channel. According to my statistics, 100% of my viewers in the past 28 days are not subscribed. I have always wanted this channel to reach 1,000 subscribers, and if you want to support and be a part of that, subscribe. It's free and it's an awesome way to support the channel. Thanks again. Reddit glitch out.